Pilates video 3, rowing back, level 1. So you're starting sitting up, you've got the band around your feet and your arms in front of your chest with your elbows slightly lifted, legs glued together, taking a breath and breathing out to roll down through the spine, just to about halfway or just above the shoulder blades. Take a breath and roll back up. Sit up tall. Breathing out to roll down. Breathing in and breathing out to come back up. So you would stay with this level, or you can even bend the legs and make it a little bit easier for yourself if this level is too advanced for your core strength or the condition of your back. And we're going to go up a level by opening the arms when we're in the down position. So Andrew's going to show you, going to breathe out and roll down. And then take a breath and breathe out to come back up with the arms open. Fold the arms back in. So breathing out to roll down through the spine, gluing the legs together, lifting the pelvic floor. Breathe in, open the arms with the palms almost going backwards, and keep those arms away at the sides as you come back in so they don't start to move back towards the legs. Good. So hover there, keep everything stable, open up, come back up and curl in, and Andrew's going to do one more. We've got a really nice little series here for you, and we're going to do rowing back with a flat back. So the arms go into a slightly different position, so they're lifted at a kind of right angle in front of you, elbows almost in line with the shoulders. Andrew's going to pitch almost straight back, so she's not really curving her spine, and coming back up again. There's a little bit of a curve through the shoulders, but she's trying as much as she can to go flat back. She's breathing out to do that, and she's coming back again on the in-breath. That's it. Great, so this is your level 2, nice challenge. And coming back. And one more time. And then we've got one which is a single arm one. So you're going to have one hand on the hip and one hand in front of the chest. And you're going to roll down and then punch across 3 times, breathing out. This is very tricky to keep the legs still and to stop the body from twisting. So only the upper body's moving. She's changing sides. And the hand that's going to punch across has got the band on the top, otherwise you get yourself into a little bit of a knot. So breathing out, punching across, good. She's curling through her waist, she's drawing her abs in, gluing her legs together. She's going to do that one once more on each side. Punching across and punching across. Punching across, 3 punches, and coming up. And again, one hand on the hip, and punching across, keeping those hips still, the legs still, just twisting from the waist, keeping the shoulders down, and the belly button pulled back towards the spine. Great, she's going to keep her TheraBand, she's going to roll all the way down to do what we're going to call leg work. She's going to lift her legs, keep them glued together in parallel. She's going to lift, great, the head and shoulders, and she's going to be drawing the elbows down into the floor. Breathing out to push the legs away on an angle there, and breathe in to bring them back, and push. That's it. This one we're going to do about 8 to 10. I think that's about 5. Yep. Good, making sure that core's switched on, the shoulders are down. Got it relaxed through the throat as much as you can be in that position, lengthening up through the back of the neck. And then she's turning the feet out into what we call a little froggy position, so the feet are turned away from each other and the heels are glued together. So toes splayed away from each other, heels glued together. She's doing 8 to 10 of those. Very nice. Good, and then when she's done her 8 to 10, she's going to set herself free from that one and set up to do bridge with arm work. So she's going to take her little weights, half-kilo weights, set herself up. Let's have the legs glued together, so feet close together, knees together, so you can really work on that pelvic floor inner thigh connection. She's going to breathe out and curl up into a high bridge. And then first arm exercise is hug a tree. So the arms are going to open as she breathes in and close towards each other, not quite meeting above her breastbone. So you don't want to take the arms too high so they're waving over your face, and you don't want to be too low, waving over your lower ribs or your tummy. You want to be over your upper ribs, over your chest. Slight curve through the elbows. Nice wide shoulders, feeling the shoulder blades really connecting down to the mat, and keeping those hips high, those knees glued together, and that pelvic floor lifting. And then she's going to go into the scissors. So one arm goes up towards her ear, the other one down towards the hip. So she's breathing in one direction and out in the other direction. That's it. Trying to keep her shoulders even, so there's quite a temptation to take the shoulder with the arm as it goes overhead, or to pop the ribs out and forward as the arm reaches overhead. So you don't want either of those two things to happen. Good. And you're going over. Good. And over. And your last sequence here is going to be circles in each direction. So you start with hands reaching up to the sky and circle around at sort of just hovering above the floor. Nice big circles, very slight bend through the elbows. Try not to let the ribs pop up as the arms go back, so that we're definitely stretching out the shoulders and not just using the ribs to accommodate the movement of the shoulders. Good. All the time making sure those hips aren't dropping down. You're not letting the pelvic floor switch off. The inner thighs are lifting, activating. And that breath, as you breathe out, you're going to make sure your core is activating to around 30% of what you're capable of. And as you breathe in, you're still keeping that 10%. You're pushing down into the feet, you're lifting up the hips, so you've got a little bit of activation through the glutes and the hamstrings. Not overdoing it, you really want it to be more in the core. That's it. So this turns an arm exercise into more of a whole body event, really. Good. Taking a breath and rolling slowly down. Okay, so taking the weights out of the way, so Andrea's going to come onto a side-for-side lying leg work. And this one is going to be focused on inner thighs. So our 3 levels here are really about the 3 different hand positions. So Andrea, just demonstrate to start with. So your level 1 would be with your hand there in front of you. Level 2 would be with your hand on top of your hip. And level 3 would be with your arm, your hand reaching up to the sky. Okay, so Andrea's going to just pick her level, and she might change as she goes on, and you can do the same thing. So we're going to start with a double leg lift, and for this today I think we're going to use flexed feet, or pretty much flexed feet rather than pointed feet. Okay, so breathing out to lift the legs together, gluing them together and lifting. Trying to keep length through the torso, keeping the hips stacked on top of each other, the legs stacked on top of each other. Good. And the head and neck in alignment, upper back nice and lengthened, not curving forwards or curving back. Pressing down into the underneath hip to help with that lift. Okay. Then we're going to lift the top leg to hip height and lift the bottom leg up to meet it. That's right. Good, and then we're going to hover both legs, so we're going to lift the top leg up and down. That's right. And when Andrea's done her 6 to 8 of that one, she's going to lower the legs, take the top leg back a little bit behind the underneath leg, and draw circles. So just, yeah, as if you're drawing a circle out through the heel. 5 or 6. That will do. It's quite strong, this one. 5 or 6 in one direction. 5 or 6 in the other direction. Great. Keeping that torso as still as possible, keeping the shoulders in position, making sure you're really using your underneath side strength as well as the top side. That's it, ready to do the second side. Good, so again you've got the choice of 3 different hand positions, and Andrea might even choose a different one this time. Give herself a sort of, oh no, she's going for level 3, okay. So double leg lift to start with. Great. That's it, so an out breath to lift, core switched on, legs glued together, hips stacked on top of hip, shoulder stacked on top of shoulder, upper back nice and open, activating all the way down through the side that is lying down, as well as the side that's up towards the sky and feels like it's doing most of the work, but it needs support from the underneath sides. Yes, so you've got a bottom leg lifting to top leg now. About 6 to 8 of these. Good, then you hover the legs and you lift the top leg. This is really good. So it's a little bit, pelvic stabilizing, inner thigh strengthening, and a whole body workout really, because of the keeping the stability of the torso, especially if you've got your arm up like Andrea has in the level 3. But you can always work towards that if you find yourself wobbling around. So you're taking the top leg back a little bit and doing little leg circles there. Good, and we only did 6 in each direction. Well done. Good, so grabbing the weights, coming back onto your back to do coordination, just having the little weights in the hands. And the hands start off in that position where you've got your elbows and upper arms just glued down, and the hands, yeah, up in a little, like, oh, I can't remember what we call that one, but anyway, you can see the position. So as you breathe out, you're going to straighten the arms and curl up the head and shoulders. You're going to open, close the legs. Let's do that 3 times. 2, 3. You're going to bend in the legs and then bring everything else back to your starting position. Breathing out to curl up. Open, close the legs. Percussive breath. Legs in, head and shoulders down. And again. And open, close. Very good. And down. And I think 2 more. And open, open, close. Good. Another little bit of inner thigh work going on here as you open and close the legs. Last one coming up. Good. So the only halfway house for that one would be to not lift up the head and shoulders, would be to do that without lifting up the head and shoulders. Let's go into the hundreds. So let's say we're going to do half a 100 here. So Andrea's going to come up from this position, curling up her head and shoulders and leaving her legs bent. And then she's going to gently beat the arms for 5 little beats as she breathes in, and 5 little beats as she breathes out. And 5 little beats as she breathes in, and 5 little beats as she breathes out. And the challenge here is for her not to let her torso get rocked around by the movement of the arms. And she's just going to go into level, I would call this level 3 actually. She's just going to straighten her legs for the last. That's right. A few breaths. So maybe just another one more after this one of 5 beats as she breathes in, 5 beats as she breathes out, and coming down. Leaving the weights, hugging in the knees, and then you can do a little roll like a ball transition to come up again. So pressing the hands into the feet and do a couple of roll like a ball. Just take that chance to ease out the back. Good. Very nice. Good. And then just balance. Good, and we've got our kneeling side arm series, so we're going to use the band for that as well. This is a really great series, and you're going to be kneeling on top of the band and then using it to create resistance with these movements. And your first one, you've got the band crossed over, and it's called drawing a sword. So you're going to breathe out. It's a bit like that lovely Staying Alive, John Travolta, some people call it that. Yeah, taking the arm up and across. Good. So drilling down through the knees, pushing the feet in, making sure those legs feel really active, pelvic floor is lifting, thinking about your posture, thinking about that box shape of the torso. Changing to your next one is going to be called shaving, so that arm is going a bit like holding a mobile phone close to your ear and then lifting the arm up or lifting the phone up to look for a signal. Or shaving close to the head. Good. That's it. So maybe that's, again, I think we're doing quite a few of these ones, maybe more like 8, that's like not quite 6, maybe 8. And they're all at the same level. The only thing I would suggest is that you just obviously make it a lighter band or put more freedom into the band if it's feeling too heavy. Good. Making sure your glutes are slightly switched on, which is going to help you. And then this one's called overhead. That's it. So you're looking out through the little window and then straightening the band. Elbow up to the sky. Try not to lean forwards or back so you're not curling, you're in a nice straight lateral flexion. Good. And when she's done her, and you've done your 6 to 8, again, you're just going to change over, set yourself up to do all 3 on the second side. Perfect. So you've got your drawing a sword. That's it, drill down through the knees, switch the glutes on a little bit. Just keep checking that that core is switching on, pelvic floor, inner thighs, and that the box or the rectangle, the frame of the torso is staying nice and even on all 4 sides. Good. And then you've got your shaving, your mobile phone, looking for a signal. Good, and you've got your overhead. Good, so then overhead. That's it, looking out through the window, elbow going up to the sky as much as you can. Try not to curve forwards, just try to be really lateral, as if you're, yeah, good. Keeping your body in good alignment, finding length through that side. Great. Coming up. Okay, well done. And then come down into child's pose and take a few nice deep breaths.